Hi guys, welcome to my video. In this video, I will show you how to create REST API and interaction with database using Spring Boot and spring-jdbc template. The content of video include I use Mysql, how to add dependency, simple data source, JDBC template, and how to query data using JDBC template and show on the REST API. Now let's get started. Firstly, Spring Framework provides the JDBC API and it also provides JDBC template to avoid boilerplate code. It means that you need not to write something open and close connection again and again. And template data asset, it also provides convenient DAO-based classes. For example, you can use JDBC DAO support. That class you should extend your DAO and use to call the get JDBC template, and you can use JDBC to have an operation with the database. Now in this video, I have some demonstration to create the REST API to manage the product object, and I use JDBC template to connect to database and Spring Web MVC. And this is the database, the product table. You can use it. Now, before to do with Spring JDBC, we have to add the dependency to the configuration file, and this is for the Maven project. You should add the Spring Boot Starter JDBC. That is the different from Spring traditional Spring. We should add Spring Boot Starter, and it also include everything for JDBC. And in this demo, I also use Mysql, so we also add the connector for Mysql here, and it's similar to Radar. Now this is the object products. It includes ID, name, price, and description. It's similar to the database. And this is configuration form file. You can add the Spring Boot Starter JDBC and the SQL connector. And before to implement everything, we have to clean and install the project to get the dependency to your local. Yeah, after build this one, you also see in the dependency tab, and you can see the library is also added into your project. You can see Spring Boot Starter, Spring Boot Starter JDBC, or Spring Boot Starter Web MVC, for example. Yeah, everything is okay now. Now we move to the simple data source. And in this demo, we just write one data source in the project. So we need not to write any extra code, and we just add this information to the property file. That is enough to create the data source, and Spring Boot can do the rest for you. And for the multiple data source, I will show you later. So to find the information, you can go to this link to get some property. It had every property unique here. And now I will create a bucket to contain the DAO, that is data asset object. That is the section to connect to the database, to interact with your database. Firstly, I can create the interface, that is project DAO. Yeah, and the implementation for that. And we have to create the DAO. It to declare on your methods you can do. You can mix in this one, for example, query on products or query by ID product. Yeah, I will show this is the application property file. Include the data source. If we should follow this pattern, the Spring will understand this data source, and it can get the data source when we call the JDBC template. I will show it later. Now I have some API here that I get from the static. I showed you in the previous video to get on products, get product by ID, insert products, or update products. That the static methods, because it just gets statically to return to REST API. But now we will remove the statics and we will write the DAO to connect to interact with the database. Now I will declare some method I need to use, like find on products, get product by ID, and insert products and update products. So this is the implementation for this DAO, and we can write some code to implement that. Now we move to the JDBC template. That is, we have three template classes: JDBC template for the symbol template, and name parameter JDBC template, and symbol template. And in this video, I will use JDBC template and to write the symbol query to demo for this one. So when we use JDBC, we have a lot of API to do that. For example, query to we input the queries SQL query to this, and we also have the second parameter, that is row mapper, to map the row it returned from the database to it convert to the object. And in this case, we can use, as I mentioned before, the Spring also supports a JDBC DAO. I will change it later. And now we write some code to convert from the database to the object. Yeah, in this case, we have to put the index or the name of column, and it should the right column in the database, the right column name in the database here. Okay, besides that, we also write the row mapper class separately. We should do this, and in the demo I write in the same class here, but you can see here we can write the different class for the row mapper, and it's easy to handle and to change later in the future. So, and we can use this mapper in the other method easily. So, and now I will extend the JDBC DAO supports class. In that class, it also do some thing for you, like it also loads the JDBC template, and we need not to declare the JDBC template. And your task is just set the data source to to that it help they understand. And remember that in this case we just have one data source. So for by default we can name as the data source, but if we have a multiple data source, we have to configure the different way in the class. And in this demo, it's really simple. We have a one data source here. And now in the controller of a REST API, I will declare the product DAO. For the best practice, we should have another layer like service, but in this case I just demo to help you understand the interaction between the database and the REST API. So I will use the DAO directly. And in the DAO, we have the annotation repository. It can help the Spring understand DDL bin, and you can index the bin to the controller. Now we run this, and you can see that we get the error here because they said that when you use JDBC DAO support, we have to set the data source. So I'm missing the setting in the data source to the JDBC DAO support. So it get the error here because they don't know what is the data source need to use. Yeah, and the annotation port controls, it means that it will get after it's loading the bin, it controls the application. So that is deployed successfully, and now I will run the API to test this. You remember in the last video I used this endpoint product to get the static data, but the data is now from the database. So the next API I use now we successfully connect to the database to do the query operation. And now I will do another thing, that the second method is find products by ID. For find product by ID, we also do the same thing with find on products, but in this case we not use the query because query return the list, and now I want to return one product because by ID it had only one. So in this case I use query for object, and we have a lot of method here, and I choose this one. We also input the query in either at the first parameter, and for the mapper it's the same with the file on. That is the reason we should write the route mapper in separate class, but in the case I should do for the demonstration. And you can see in the shortcode I will write in the different class for the route mapper. And you can see they said that this one is the greatest, so I should change to another method. Okay. Now I call these methods from controller to the find by ID to get the products by ID. And now we can run it to test this API. Yeah, this endpoint is the same, and now I will pass the ID 11. Yeah. You can see it's get the errors, whatever here. Okay, I have the wrong column because this one is not the ID. I have to use product ID. Okay, for the parameter number 4 in this case. Okay. So I will run the API again. You can see that now it also get the product 11. That is not really good return data, but we should return the other like message or something like that. But in this one, I just demo for you to understand about the interaction with the database using spring-jdbc. And in the next video, I will show you how to use the interaction with database using Spring Data GPA, and you can see the difference. And now I write the method to insert the one product to the database. We have a for column here, and I will insert for column product ID, name, price, description, and the value. And in this one, I will use a prepare statement. It's really simple. It's something really like in the JDBC technology you already know it before, but in this the differently we use JDBC template. It will remove the boilerplate code. We need not to write something like open connection, close connection, as I mentioned before. And now we will have the syntax to set the parameter here. For example, we have a for parameter. We see that we have 4 questions here, and for each question we will set the data from the UI from the client to this one, that is product get ID, and the parameter is from 1, 2, 3, and 4 parameter. It is followed by the sequence from 1. And similarly, we set the data for the second parameter in name, and also price, and also description for that. Okay, now I will write the other methods, the update on the DAO on the repository, and that is the same. We can use the same prepare statement, but in the case I will use the different query for the update. Now we change a little bit compared to the insert prepare statement, because the parameter ID is at the last parameter, so we have to change the index. And now I will change the controller, and we will call to the DAOs to insert and update the data directly in the database. Now we will run this again to test the API, post API to create the new products to the database. Okay, we use the box mapping and the data like this, but we get the error. Okay, the reason of this error is because no value for parameter 4. Okay, I missed this one is not the 4, it's not 3, this is 4, number 4 here. Okay, we run this again. Yeah, you can see that it got the errors because the column description cannot null, and I have to pass the description in the JSON object. Yeah, and we run it again. Yeah, now it gets started 200, it means successful, and we can see that the new product is created successfully. And now I will test with the API update, and we will update the API number, the API with the product ID 11. Okay, we also add the product description too. Yeah, now it's get the errors 500. It means that okay, we get the wrong column here. It also ID, not ID, product ID. Okay, we run this again. Sometimes it's wrong in the code, it's no problem. And we run this API again to update the one. Sorry for this one, I not change. We will not update the ID, remember that. So in the okay, that's all about create the REST API. I already demo with you about how to create the REST API and the interaction, have some operation in the database using spring-jdbc and Spring Boot. Okay, thank you for watching my video. Goodbye, see you.